Welcome to Inside PTI, weekly videos designed to get you the trial results you want, agronomy explanations you need, and insights that will set you up for success this season. Today we're going to talk about the top 10 best agronomic practices at the PTI farm in 2019. It's one of the most common questions I get from growers that contact us about the PTI farm. We say, hey, you're doing all these experiments and trials at the farm. What actually worked the best? So today I thought what we do is kind of break it down into the top 10 things that made us the most money on a per acre basis. So I'm not a big advocate of top 10 lists. Normally I don't like them, but I do like the fact that we can break it down and show profitability. The top 10 profitability areas or practices that we saw in 2019. And here's the list on the screen, and you can really break this down, and it kind of shows what the true story was in 2019. We had tremendous rainfall in the spring of 2019. Planting delays were prevalent across the Midwest, and it's no surprise that tile drainage was one of the top 10 practices for us at the PTI farm in 2019. What is a little bit of a surprise to me is the large dollar values. So you look at number one on the top 10 is 30-foot pattern tile. We just put some fresh tile in at the PTI farm, and looking at 30-foot pattern tile plus irrigation is giving us a return on investment, increased revenue per acre of $273. Just tremendous amounts of revenue on a per acre basis. And so I guess if we look at this, here's some of the tile that we're putting in at the farm. Here's one of our tile machines. We're looking at different spacings on the farm. But this tile drainage turned up to be huge for us. And again, with the rainfall, I don't think a big surprise, but these are some large dollar amounts. Now, along with the drainage, we also are doing irrigation as part of a water management and recycling study. And so this is, number one, is a combination of drainage and irrigation. And the number one thing along with drainage is using our Netafim irrigation system on the farm. So we're using drip tape to recycle water. We're using the water coming from the tile drainage on the farm to then recycle and irrigate our crops. So this has been a big one. That's why that dollar value is so high of just under $300. Here's a close-up of the drip tape. We run this right down the center every other row. This is how we're delivering water to irrigate our crops. This was a big deal in 2019. All right, quickly, let's go to number two. This is just no irrigation, just the tile itself in a 30-foot tile pattern, bringing us in another $154. Here's some of the tile patterns we're looking at on the farm. We put tile in at 30s, 60s, and 120s, and that 30-foot spacing, those narrow spacings this year paid off big because, like I said earlier, of all the rainfall we had in 19. But look at the difference in the tile, though. 30 foot, we're seeing 42 bushel yield increases in corn. We double that to go to 60s, and we cut that yield in half down to 22. We even did some 120s just to see what the difference would be, and we were seeing minimal increases there, just under 4 bushel. So a big difference in the pattern tile passes that we put in the field. Here's what it'd take to pay off the tile, and I think this is interesting data. We don't see a lot of this out there in the industry, but based off the data we had last year, it'd only take 5.5 years to pay off that 30-foot tile. About 9 years for the 60-foot, and the 120s would take a long time at 47.5 years. So it shows you the differences in the economics of putting this large investment in, but then the payback, how long it would take to pay for itself. All right, number three, let's switch gears from corn and go to soybeans. High yield irrigated soybeans, we're bringing this in over $150 to the acre. I thought this was really interesting this year. We were able to grow over 100 bushel beans at the PTI farm. We're super proud of that. How did we do it? Things like at-plant nutrition and irrigation were big for us. Again, using the Netafim drip tape on the soybeans. Look at the yield response on these soybeans with just irrigation. 24 to 27, 28 bushel yield responses across the board, no matter what treatment we were looking at. Irrigation on beans paid big. I will say this. This was my first year irrigating soybeans, and I want to do it again because it was super successful. Look at the drip tape on these soybeans. Look at the root mass of the beans. I've said it all. I said it all summer long, and I'll continue to say it. We've changed the architecture of the root system of a soybean plant because of what we're doing with our Netafim drip tape and the at-plant fertility that we're doing with Furrow and Conceal. Look at the root mass of these soybeans, a tremendous fibrous root system that looks more like corn than a soybean traditional taproot. Here's some of the dollar values we're looking at with our high yield soybean trials that we're doing. Again, over $150 of additional revenue. This was big for us. Again, looking at some of the fertility, looking at some of the irrigation. All right, let's go to number 4. Let's stay on soybeans. Dual band Conceal with a 14-12-4-6. This is a product from Marco Fertilizer. We've been studying this for the past 3 years. Again, this year in irrigated soybeans, bringing us almost $85 to the acre additional revenue. Just huge numbers with this 14-12-4-6. We're applying it through Conceal on the planter in the gauge wheels. Okay, we're going 3 inches off to the side, about 1.5 inches deep. And look at these yield results. 10 gallon to the acre of a 14-12-4-6, bringing in almost 9 bushel yield increases on corn. That's a lot, and that's what we hope to see again in the future by being able to put this 14-12-4-6 on in a concealed dual band application. The dollar values, there's that 84.96. It looks like 10 gallon to the acre was our economic optimum rate. All right, halfway through, number 5 here, we come back to the tile. Remember we talked about 30-foot pattern tile before. Now we come into the 60-foot pattern tile. We're kind of doubling that space between the tile, but still it was bringing in another $80 to the acre here. Again, I'll show you the intervals of the tile spacing, the 30s and the 60s. That 60 came in at number 5 this year, just again showing you the drainage was a key in 2019. All right, number 6 comes back to irrigation, our high yield irrigation plot on corn, and we were bringing in net another $54 an acre in this system. Now, I will say this, these numbers should be higher. However, we didn't get our irrigation system put in till late. Matter of fact, some of the corn was actually pollinating. It was that late. So we were just putting the installation in of the irrigation, and it was just late. So in future years, this number should be higher. But look at the yield response we're seeing in our high yield study, bringing in an extra almost 75 bushel of corn. This should be over 100 depending on rainfall during the year, but we're really starting to push corn yields, and I'm excited about where this will go in the future. But another important aspect of this is we're bringing in another $54 to the acre. That's net. So after all the things we're doing in our high yield plot, we're still making money. All right, number 7. This is where we go to the planter with at-plant nutrition. This is Furrow on corn using a Nachurs imPulse product. This is a 10-18-4, bringing in over $50 net profit. This was a study that we did at the PTI farm where we're looking at placements. Do we put it in the center application of Furrow or in the wings? What combination's giving us the best response? And in this particular study, a 3x3 showed up the best. 10-18-4 Nachurs in 3 gallons in the center of Furrow along with 3 gallons in the wings, giving us the highest, giving us yields of 11.6, which was almost the highest in the yield contest of this plot. But when we look at the economics of it, it actually made the most money. All right, number 8, this is where it comes to nitrogen on corn. If we're going to grow high-yielding corn, we got to get our nitrogen program right. And our triple split program showed up the best. This was bringing in about another $50 net compared to other traditional ways of applying nitrogen. But our triple concept is 3 applications of nitrogen, some as a weed and feed with our herbicide, some at plant with Conceal, and then we side dress the balance, a 3-way, a triple program. And you know, this triple program has been at the top for the last 2 years, and it's been a bulletproof nitrogen program for us. So it's something that we've been installing at PTI, and we've had really good luck with it. All right, number 9. You know, we mentioned earlier that 2019 was a super wet year, and so when we came in, when we applied nitrogen and applied nitrogen stabilizers to protect our nitrogen, this actually turned up at number 9, Centuro from Coke Industries, Coke Agronomics. This actually came in at $48. Very nice product for us. First time in testing this particular product. Did a good job of protecting that nitrogen in a wet situation so that corn could use that nitrogen later season. Did a good job. 16 bushel yield increases from this particular product. Again, we're going to look at this this year in 2020. We're seeing already some high rainfalls early this spring. We'll see if a particular product like this can stabilize nitrogen once again and protect yield. And here's that dollar value after the cost of treatment, $48.18 an acre. All right, and finally, number 10. This has been a popular one for us, looking at Marco Fertilizer potassium on soybeans. It's one of the things that we've been worried about is potassium levels dropping on some of our soil tests, and being able to use Conceal on soybeans, a safe way to apply that potassium, came in at $47 at number 10. Look at the yield increases. You know, using a potassium acetate product in Conceal at 2, 4, and 6 gallon. Seeing some nice yield increases, 5.7 to over 6 bushel to the acre. We pay for the product, and here's our net return, $37 to $47 an acre is not too shabby. So being able to, again, apply potassium in a safe way on the planter to provide that soybean crop with excellent nutrients throughout the growing season. So today's Inside PTI agronomy tip of the day is, it's my opinion that challenging the status quo is important for every grower. Today we talked about different agronomic practices that offered gains of over $270 an acre. That's why it's always important to try experimenting and doing some agronomic practices differently than your normal management style. It's the only way we're truly going to know if you're maximizing yield potential, or better yet, profitability. For more information or questions, feel free to reach out to any Precision Planting Premier dealer, or you can email us at insidepti@precisionplanting.com. We'll see you on the next episode of Inside PTI. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching.